This is CBC Windsor News. I'm Jennifer LaGrassa. Thanks for watching. We begin with an exclusive report on the NextStar battery plant. It was confidential government deals worth billions that landed the facility in Windsor. For the first time, CBC News has access to the agreement. Reporter Emma Loop went through the fine print and has more details.
Confidential deals to provide billions in taxpayer dollars to Windsor's EV battery plant include some job guarantees, according to redacted copies obtained by CBC Windsor. But it's unclear if they include protections for the Stellantis plant in Brampton. Federal officials have claimed they do.
Stellantis had an obligation to bring back the production to the Brampton plant, and they failed that obligation. And so that's why we're putting maximum pressure on the company.
The job guarantees have been intensely scrutinized since Stellantis revealed it's moving production of a Jeep model from Brampton to the U.S., creating more uncertainty and stress for thousands of laid-off workers there.
To make matters worse, this Liberal government and this Liberal finance minister forked over $15 billion tax dollars to the company that is moving their jobs south. So surely the government would have negotiated a jobs guarantee for every single Canadian Stellantis employee. Will they release that guarantee and the entire contract so Canadians know where their dollars went?
CBC Windsor found the two contracts tucked within records the government previously released in response to an access to information request. The funding deals for the NextStar EV battery plant require them to create 2,500 full-time jobs. But there's no mention of Brampton, at least not in the unredacted sections. The federal government didn't respond to questions before deadline. Neither did NextStar, which is a joint venture between Stellantis and LG Energy Solution. A Stellantis executive at a House committee Wednesday also would not say whether any of the deals included job protections.
The dynamics of the contract and the contract signed, some of that obviously is going to remain confidential as the nature of those contracts are. But we are committed to maintaining the workforce in Canada.
The documents do show that NextStar is bound to dozens of conditions and that if it violates them, the federal industry minister can terminate the contracts. In some cases, the minister can also force the company to repay funding. Emma Loop, CBC News, Windsor.
At that Ottawa committee meeting that Emma mentioned in her report, local MP Kathy Borelli pressed Stellantis on when NextStar would fulfill its promise to hire 2,500 people. The company couldn't give a firm answer. Here's a bit of that exchange.
I believe you had a commitment to provide 2,500 jobs within a year of opening the plant. Is that not true?
I don't have the timing in front of me, so I cannot answer that question. That was a year from the time that it opened. My apologies. I do know that we continue to expand, and as I said, we want to continue to expand, and our investment there is the collective investment is large, and we want to make sure that it continues.
Every year, thousands come to work on Windsor-Essex farms, and some of them are from Jamaica, and we're expecting to head home this week. But devastation from Hurricane Melissa is delaying their return. CBC's Jacob Barker reports.
Every year, thousands of workers come from Jamaica to Essex County to help out on farms. And now with the devastation of Hurricane Melissa becoming clear, the community here is pitching in to help the community there. This is all happening while two workers on this berry farm are stuck in Canada, wishing they could be home to help out. What do you think when you see those pictures? What do you feel?
Traumatized.
Yeah.
Traumatized, yeah. Very traumatized to see back home like that. Yeah, because it's the worst hurricane that hit Jamaica in history.
Davian Dennis and Andre Isaacs spent the season in Canada picking berries and making money to send home. Their ticket was booked to leave on October 29th, but the airport in Montego Bay is damaged and closed to commercial traffic because of the storm. Now they're watching from afar, difficult to connect with family.
Yes, I heard from my mom right after the hurricane for approximately about 2 to 3 minutes. And I don't hear back from her after that. Okay. So, just wondering what's going on.
Isaacs knows the roof of his house has been damaged. He's eager to get back.
I just wish I was down there right now to do some repairs and so, especially on my house and others.
They are 2 of the 9 Jamaican workers that worked here at Raymont Farms. The other 7 already left. Owner Brad Raymont has been reaching out to those who have departed, trying to find out if they're okay.
I've heard from 1, and this morning Andre heard from 2 others, so there's still 4 that we haven't got in touch with.
He and his wife decided to send some money back to the workers' families for repairs, and they've reached out to the community for help as well.
Seen pictures of like their areas, and it's like, you know, there's water to the roofs. So anything we can do to help give them some money to get supplies back home.
Some donations are already coming in. This popular drive-in restaurant and ice cream stand is giving 2 days worth of proceeds to the Raymont workers.
I think it's pretty special that all of these workers leave their families to come here and help our farmers produce our food. It makes us care a little more, you know, about them and their families and their tragedies.
It's help that binds two communities despite their distance apart.
Yeah, I really appreciate it and thankful for the help. Yeah, so who can help? Yeah, just help.
Jacob Barker, CBC News, Essex County.
Local businesses with ties to Jamaica are also pitching in to raise donations to help the island nation. Our video producer dropped by a salon in Windsor that's part of the effort.
We're in need of essentials like foods, baby stuff, all the essential things, medical supplies that would be needed in a crisis as this. My name is Princess Small. I have been living in Windsor for over 7 years. I always tell people that I have the best of both worlds. I lived in Jamaica for many years, but I'm also Canadian. When I saw Hurricane Melissa, at first it was a storm, and then they just kept on increasing the categories. I realized that my hometown and country is gonna be hit very hard. So I really wanted to get something started, and I started to just make phone calls. Unbelievable Salon, Audia, she jumped on board, and she's a donation site.
We're setting up a drop-off box in the salon where you can drop off whatever items you might have. We're looking for canned goods, we're looking for rice, we're looking for flour, any kind of non-perishable food items. Princess will be also spearheading that. We'll be using her connections in Jamaica to go and distribute the funds as well as the materials to get the stuff to the people who are deeply in need. At the moment, I can't say I've spoken to anybody. This morning when I woke up, I tried calling. The calls just went dead because the lines are down. So we're just waiting to hear back. I've sent messages and hopefully I'll hear back, but we'll try calling until we can get through.
Meanwhile, the Jamaican government is trying to deal with fake videos that are spreading misinformation in the wake of Hurricane Melissa. Allison Northcott has more on how images created by artificial intelligence cause confusion and worse during a natural disaster or crisis. And to be clear, the following story does contain AI-generated content.
Oh my God, the whole ocean's on the street.
The video posted on TikTok is dramatic, surreal, and fake. As Hurricane Melissa continues its destructive path, videos generated by artificial intelligence are being published and shared online.
All of these videos coming, many of them are fake, and so we urge you to please listen to the official channels.
During an emergency, AI can hamper rescue and relief efforts and mislead people about the threat, says this emergency management expert.
If the information, for example, falsely tells them that everything is okay or pretend to be okay, of course, they may not be reacting as expected, which may put them in danger.
On the other hand, he says fake catastrophic images can cause panic for people and confusion for emergency responders. Even though this AI video has the logo for OpenAI's video generator, Sora, on it, this media literacy expert says that doesn't mean everyone who sees it will understand it's fake.
The more AI-generated content that enters our information ecosystem, the more important it is that we all take the time to check the sources of that information to make sure it's accurate, especially when it comes to things like disasters that have impact on people's public safety.
But some say the platforms have a responsibility too.
it can't be on individuals to be making this decision every day about whether the video their uncle posts is fake or not. And that, I think, is the point where we really need to push past media literacy as just the solution and look for more accountability on the part of platforms that have been pushing AI.
TikTok says creators have to label AI-generated content, and if it's harmful or misleading around important public matters, it's not allowed. Environment and Climate Change Canada says fake images of weather events can not only put people at risk, but also erode trust in experts to provide credible forecasts. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Excitement is building up for Game 6 of the World Series on Friday. Jays fans can catch all the action at a World Series watch party in downtown Windsor. The event, organized by the Downtown BIA, will take place at City Hall Square and include a food truck, bar service, and heaters to keep you warm. Attendees just need to bring a lawn chair, blanket, and, of course, their Jays gear. So that will be taking place, and you can come out on Friday. It's sure to be a good time in the city of Windsor. Colette Kennedy is here. Colette, what is the day looking like for us?
Well, I mean, obviously we've got some very wet conditions that we're still contending with and some windy conditions too, but as we get into Halloween, things will be drying out, and it's looking pretty good actually for our little trick-or-treaters, but there's some of those heavier bands that are still wrapping around here, and you can get into some of that heavier rain, especially out over the lake, but otherwise overnight tonight, 3 degrees with the rainfall, drying out for tomorrow. Not a bad day, just very windy.
Thanks, Colette. Just because you can take pictures of someone in public and post them online, should you? One family says if it's of vulnerable people like their sister, it shouldn't be allowed.
This is Alicia Newman in 2017, about a year before she died. She was in Windsor, living in and out of homelessness, struggling with her mental health and drug addiction. But that's not how her family wants her remembered.
At the end of the day, my sister would give you the shirt off her back. She was the nicest person.
After a serious car accident, Devin says his sister was introduced to drugs. She fell into addiction and had bipolar disorder. At 37 years old, she died from drug-related health issues. A year later, her family says they saw photos of her online.
It's really hard because my sister didn't look like that at all.
It felt really violating seeing her in a really vulnerable state, which would be around close to the time where she was, begging for help and begging to get clean, and someone showcasing her in her, really not fantastic time of her life is really heartbreaking.
They asked the photographer, Donnie Johnston, to remove the photos, but say they've been ignored and blocked. Johnston has continued to repost the photos of Alicia. He didn't want to comment to CBC News, but has previously said on his Instagram, "I don't claim to be anything but a photographer. I will never take down any photo for any reason ever." End of story. He often posts pictures of people living on the streets, some more explicit than others.
The family agreed for CBC News to share the photos of Alicia with hopes that by speaking out, they take back control of her story, but also that this conversation leads to more protections. Experts say Canadian law hasn't kept pace with technology.
I think that some legal reform, some greater protection for people's dignity and control over their images or the images of loved ones is really needed.
And one photography expert says that the ease of being able to take photos and share them online these days means everyone needs to consider the ethics, especially when it comes to people who are living on the streets.
For you and I, or anybody who lives in a house, yes, when I'm in public, somebody has the right to take a photo of me, but I have the option to retreat to privacy. For homeless and underhoused people, they don't have that option. That is their home.
And she says raising awareness shouldn't come at the cost of someone's privacy, dignity, or emotional well-being.
We don't want to have to go through this every couple of years because it brings up some really bad memories for us. And I know my sister would not want to be remembered like that at all.
ever. Welcome back. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in South Korea to attend the APEC summit. He also got a first-hand look at South Korean-built submarines that Canada could buy.
Thank you. Where are you? Okay.
Ottawa wants to expand its fleet of submarines. South Korea is competing with a German-Norwegian alliance for the multi-billion-dollar contract. The Asian country's prime minister joined Carney on a visit to the Hanwha Ocean shipyard to see one of the country's newest subs. Meanwhile, Carney's next high-profile meeting is set for Friday. He'll be sitting down with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Donald Trump, meanwhile, ended his 5-day trip through Asia on a high note. He managed to de-escalate his country's trade war with China by making a deal with President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the APEC summit. Laura Westbrook has the details.
U.S. President Donald Trump describes his meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping as amazing. He said on a scale on 1 to 10, it was a 12. Meanwhile, China's president said that the two sides had reached an important consensus. Now, the U.S. says it will cut fentanyl-related tariffs from 20% to 10%, and that China's leader had agreed to take stronger action to stop the flow of the precursor chemicals used to make the deadly drug fentanyl. China, for its part, has also said that it will pause a new set of rare earth export controls for at least a year. The lowering of tariffs is a significant victory for Beijing. They had wanted to see those tariffs come down. For the U.S. side, China is resuming its purchases of American soybeans, and that will ease the pain of American farmers, who are a key support base of Donald Trump, providing him with a significant political win. Donald Trump will also travel to China next year, and he also said that China's leader will make a reciprocal visit to the United States. The meeting has definitely dialed down some of the tensions that we've seen in recent months, with each side retaliating and hitting each other with tit-for-tat tariffs, as well as other measures like export controls. However, analysts say that the long-term strategic competition between the world's two biggest superpowers remains. Laura Westbrook for CBC News in Gyeongju, South Korea.
Some ranchers in Alberta are trying their hands at something new to help secure the future of their family farms. They're turning to tourists to help. Kyle Bax has the story.
After storing grain for decades, these 2-story metal bins now house guests from around the world who want a taste of farm life on the Canadian prairies.
I grew up on a grain farm, so always loved the idea of granaries.
The trio of grain bins were booked solid all summer long on land where 300 cattle graze.
We've diversified our ranch, and it's a good opportunity to get extra income that way too.
It's also aimed at keeping this land in the family. Succession planning is one of the most pressing issues in agriculture. Agritourism is one way to bridge a generational gap, enticing the children of farmers to stay in farming.
More and more, you can't be just a rancher, so you're always looking for ways to branch out. Well, the goal and the dream is to ranch, but it doesn't always work that way.
About $300 billion worth of farmland will change hands over the next decade, experts say, as the average age of farmers nears 60 years old. But some farms can be too big or too small to easily pass on, and some farmers want to keep farming forever.
It's a type of industry where you may have worked your entire life with, so your own identity is really enmeshed with the work that you're doing, and you like doing the work.
For Brianna Morrison, her kids are young, but she's already thinking decades ahead. She just opened for business this summer with 5 converted grain bins on the land her family has farmed for 3 generations.
They might have more ideas for this place and want to continue it and make it their own too and grow on it, and I hope that can come with the legacy of this ranch too.
For now, she's focusing on marketing and hospitality to keep welcoming guests to the ranch while still looking after the animals. Kyle Bax, CBC News, near Pincher Creek, Alberta.
Colette Kennedy is back with us. Colette, Halloween has not even passed yet, and believe it or not, I'm already seeing homes in Windsor with Christmas decor on the outside. Can you believe it?
Hey, some people are just so organized, I guess. Yes.
They're ahead of the ball.
I can believe it, but I do think it is nice to kind of wait and let's do one at a time right here so we can get all the full enjoyment of Halloween. And why don't we start there with that Halloween forecast then? Normally I would be putting the, what the forecast is for say 6:30 or so that it's after the sun sets or at least around, dusk and things getting dark. But I've moved it up because of those who may be wanting to get the kids out early, get the trick-or-treating done and get back in to watch the World Series. But 11 degrees, that's what that's saying right there. It'll still be around 11 degrees at 5 p.m. And we will have kind of variable skies, but at least we'll be drier. It's going to be still breezy though. So be aware of that. And also for any Halloween, decorations you have outdoors, you really got to have those secured already, in fact, with the winds that we have. Current temperatures, high single digits. Winds are out of the north between almost 35 to almost 45 kilometers per hour. Those are the gusts. And there's that wraparound moisture here, tapping into some of the moisture from Hurricane Melissa, even though it's well off the eastern seaboard. That's been sort of pulled back into this area of low pressure that's pushing here up through New York State. And there's some of those heavier bands, even a few lightning strikes in there as well. But we, at least timing-wise, get kind of lucky here. So by 11 p.m., still some cloud cover in here, but only probably some drizzle or very light showers. Then it continues to dry out and clear out as we go through the day tomorrow. But this is what I mean by variable. In that back into the afternoon, we'll get some more cloud developing with those kinds of conditions and those winds. So that's why it's not going to necessarily be clear, but it does look pretty good as we move into the weekend that we'll have kind of a mix of sun and cloud, and the winds will eventually be easing. In the meantime, the bulk of the rainfall is done with. We certainly had enough through the day, really starting at about 3 a.m. Overnight last night. Overnight temperatures then dipping down to 3 to 4 degrees for those lows. And there you go. Tomorrow's high will be 12 degrees. You saw it comes down a little bit for early trick-or-treaters, and we'll get some clearing. The weekend looks pretty good, but just a reminder too, this weekend, the clocks fall back. So do that before you go to sleep Saturday night into Sunday. And those temperatures are really quite impressive, frankly, as we go through time. It's not looking too bad because we'll be heading, of course, into the month of November, ending up October and wrapping it up.
I like it. It looks good to me. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a good night.